Beneath the ancient oak canopy of Savannah, I stood in the historic villa, the flickering candlelight reflecting off my form-fitting red silk dress. I am Clara, 36 years old, an interior designer, but my heart has withered in the cold marriage with my husband. Ethan. Silent evenings, indifferent embraces, and intimacy that felt like a mere obligation left me yearning for a new flame. Tonight, at a party in our home, the gazes of James and Liam, Ethan's two best friends, met mine, like two sparks ready to ignite every boundary. Please hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to join me on this whirlwind of emotions. Our villa sits on the outskirts of Savannah, its stone walls covered in moss, tall windows glowing with the soft candlelight on the dining table. The scent of magnolia flowers wafted in from the garden, mingling with the rich aroma of red wine. I wore a red silk dress with a deep V-neck, my fiery red hair cascading over my shoulders, a few strands clinging to my neck from the humid Georgia summer heat. Guests laughed and chatted, the clinking of glasses filling the air, but I felt only emptiness. Ethan stood in the corner of the room, dressed in a white shirt, his eyes glued to his phone as always, oblivious to me. I held a glass of wine, taking a sip, the bitterness sliding down my throat, a reminder of our marriage, 5 years together. But Ethan had become a stranger. Our moments of intimacy were mere obligations, devoid of emotion, devoid of passion. He no longer had the power to make me tremble, to ignite the fire within me. I sighed, gazing out at the garden where moonlight filtered through the oak leaves, casting dancing shadows, mirroring the desires I dared not voice. Then I felt the gazes, not one, but two. James stood near the window, his blonde hair glowing under the candlelight, his gray eyes watching me with curiosity, like a wolf stalking its prey. He wore a black shirt with the sleeves rolled up, revealing his toned arms. Liam stood across the room, his dark hair sleek, his deep brown eyes sharp yet filled with desire. He wore a gray suit, his muscles evident beneath the fabric, like a storm waiting to break free. They were Ethan's best friends, but the looks they gave me were not those of friendship. They were fire, and I, like a moth, was drawn in. I walked to the dining table, pretending to adjust the flower arrangement, but my heart pounded like the drums of an ancient melody. James approached, the scent of his woody cologne making me dizzy. "Clara, you look more beautiful than ever," he said, his voice low, like a whisper in the night. I smiled faintly, trying to maintain my composure. "Thank you, James." "You're quite captivating yourself," I replied, my eyes gliding over him, sensing the danger in every word. Liam appeared beside me, a glass of wine in hand, his gaze unwavering. "Ethan is a lucky man," he said, his voice cold but laced with meaning. "But sometimes, people don't appreciate what they have." His words cut like a knife, and I knew they both saw the loneliness in my eyes. Before leaving, James whispered, "Give me your number, Clara, for easier contact." I hesitated, but his gaze left me unable to refuse. I gave him my number, and that very night, a group chat was created, just me, James, and Liam. The first message came from James. "Clara, I can't forget your eyes tonight. They were like a flame." Liam followed immediately. "You're as beautiful as a storm, Clara. I want to see you unleash." My heart raced, feeling as though I stood on the edge of an abyss, and I had no desire to run away. The sound of message notifications, the wind whistling through the window, the sound of water running in the bathroom, crickets chirping. The days following the party, Savannah basked in golden sunlight, but my heart was swept away by the fiery messages from James and Liam. I, Clara, had grown tired of the silent evenings with Ethan, the emotionless intimacy, and the emptiness in my heart. Our group chat became a secret world, where seductive whispers, provocative images, and even daring videos made me tremble, like a flame blazing in the dark night. I knew I was walking a dangerous line, but I couldn't stop, and I didn't want to stop. The late afternoon sun streamed through my office window, reflecting off my drafting table where interior designs lay untouched. I wore a thin white dress, my red hair tied up high, but my mind was elsewhere. My phone buzzed incessantly, each message from the group chat making my heart race like the drums of an ancient melody. James texted, "Clara, I imagine you in that villa that night, without a stitch of clothing, like a living flame." Liam followed immediately. "You're as beautiful as a storm. Clara, I want to see you unleash, with nothing to hide." I bit my lip, my breathing quickening, feeling like a flower blooming in the midst of a tempest. My fingers trembled on the screen as I replied, "You're making me burn." James sent a photo, his body under dim lighting, bare, his muscles chiseled like a living statue, stealing my breath. Liam followed with an image of himself under the shower, water streaming down his body like an erupting volcano, hot and intense. I texted back, "You two are truly dangerous." I glanced around the office, ensuring no one saw, then snapped a photo, the light streaming through my white dress, highlighting my curves like a rising wave under moonlight. I sent it, feeling as though I had just thrown myself into a bottomless abyss, my heart pounding, but I couldn't stop. That night, I returned to the villa, moonlight filtering through the oak canopy, casting dancing shadows on the stone walls. Ethan sat on the sofa, his eyes glued to his laptop as always, oblivious to me. I wore a thin emerald silk robe, my red hair cascading over my shoulders, a few strands clinging to my neck from Savannah's humidity. I sat across from him, holding my phone, the group chat lighting up again. James texted, "Clara, I want to see you right now, like a flame that can't be extinguished." Liam, "Show us, Clara, without hiding, like a free wave." I smiled faintly, a smile both longing and guilty, my fingers gliding over the screen as I replied, "You won't be disappointed." Ethan looked up, his eyes glancing over me. "What's making you so happy, Clara?" His voice was flat, without suspicion, but I startled, my heart racing. "Nothing," I replied, trying to keep my tone steady, smiling faintly. "Just a message from a client." He nodded, returning to his laptop, unaware of my quickened breathing. I continued texting. "Wait a moment." I stood up, heading to the bathroom, where the golden orange light from the lamp illuminated the tiled walls, steam rising from the shower like a misty veil. I slipped off my robe, letting it slide to the floor, my body like a living painting under the dim light, a flame blazing in the night. I recorded a short video, water streaming down my skin, accentuating every curve, like a rising wave. I sent it, my heart pounding, feeling as though I had just opened a door that couldn't be closed. James texted back immediately, "Clara, you're driving me insane." Liam, "I want to rush there right now, Clara, to feel your fire." All night, we texted back and forth, each word a spark, each image a storm. James sent a photo of himself lying on his bed, the light illuminating his body, like a predator waiting to pounce. Liam sent an image of himself standing by a window, moonlight glowing on his skin, like a volcano about to erupt. I lay in bed, moonlight streaming through my window, smiling faintly, replying, "You're keeping me awake." The messages continued until morning, each word pulling me deeper into the abyss, and I knew I needed to see them, to turn these whispers into reality. The next day, I decided to invite them over for dinner on Friday. "Ethan, I'm inviting James and Liam for dinner on Friday, okay?" I said, my voice calm, but inside, a wave surged. Ethan nodded, unsuspecting. "Sounds good. You arrange it." I smiled, looking out at the garden, sunlight warming my face, but inside me was a storm, ready to erupt. The clinking of wine glasses, lively laughter, the sound of water running in the bathroom, heavy breathing. Tonight, our historic villa in Savannah glowed brightly, the scent of grilled meat and magnolia flowers filling the air. Clara, stood in the kitchen, my black dress hugging my body, preparing dinner, but my mind was consumed by James and Liam. They arrived, their gazes full of intent, and I knew tonight would be more than just a meal. Under the table, winks, light kicks, and every glass of red wine poured for Ethan were part of a plan he was completely unaware of. When Ethan became drunk, the three of us began to fall into an abyss, a storm of passion we couldn't resist. The villa glowed under the chandelier, golden orange light reflecting off the moss-covered stone walls, creating a warm yet mysterious atmosphere. I wore a tight black dress with a deep V-neck, accentuating my curves, my fiery red hair cascading over my shoulders, a few strands clinging to my neck from the humid Georgia summer heat. The aroma of grilled beef and mashed potatoes wafted from the kitchen, blending with the scent of magnolia from the garden, creating an intimate yet seductive space. Ethan sat at the head of the table, wearing a white shirt, his face beaming. "I just signed a big contract today. Let's raise a toast to celebrate." He laughed heartily, unaware that I was exchanging secret signals with his two friends. James sat across from me, his blonde hair glowing under the light, his gray eyes watching me like a wolf stalking its prey. Liam sat beside me, his dark hair sleek, his deep brown eyes sharp yet filled with desire. Dinner was lively, laughter echoing, glasses clinking, but under the table, I felt a light touch from James's foot, like a spark igniting dry grass. I winked at him, smiling faintly, then turned to Liam, my foot brushing his thigh, making him smirk, his gaze burning. Ethan remained oblivious, raising his glass. "Drink more, I'm so happy today." James smiled, refilling Ethan's glass. "Of course, my friend." Liam nodded. "We have to celebrate fully." I watched them, my heart pounding, feeling a storm approaching. Ethan drank glass after glass, his face flushed, laughing endlessly, but his voice began to slur. "You guys are great," he mumbled, then slumped onto the table, completely drunk. James stood, his gaze meeting mine with intent. "Let us take Ethan to his room." Liam nodded, and they carried Ethan upstairs, leaving me in the dining room, my breathing heavy, like a flame about to ignite. I heard the bedroom door close. Then James and Liam returned, their gazes like two waves ready to sweep me away. "Clara," James whispered, stepping closer, his hand brushing my waist. "It's our time now." Liam stood behind me, his breath hot on my neck. "Let us take you into the storm." I led them to the large bathroom, where golden orange light illuminated the tiled walls, steam rising from the shower like a misty veil. I slipped off my dress, letting it fall to the floor. my body like a living painting under the light, a flame blazing in the night. James and Liam shed their shirts, their bodies like two sculptures, their muscles chiseled, stealing my breath. Water poured down, hot, like a summer rain. James stood in front of me, his hands lathering soap on my shoulders, each touch like a spark, making me tremble. Liam stood behind me, his hands gliding down my back, soaping me like a rising wave. I held the soap, my hands rubbing James' chest, feeling his firm muscles, then sliding down his hips, each motion like a note in a melody, igniting the fire within me. I turned to Liam, my hands rubbing his back, feeling his hot skin, like a volcano about to erupt. The three of us caressed each other, steam enveloping us like a veil of passion, each touch melting me. Heavy breathing, the rustle of silk fabric, the crackling of candles, the scent of vanilla and sandalwood wafting through the air. In the dimly lit living room of our Savannah villa, the flickering glow of scented candles cast dancing shadows, like unspoken desires. Clara, had just emerged from the steamy heat of the bathroom with James and Liam, two flames that had pulled me into a deep abyss of passion. Under the golden orange light, we surrendered to an ancient dance, where all boundaries dissolved, leaving only a blazing fire, entwined in every touch, every breath, every heartbeat. The living room was enveloped in the soft glow of scented candles, the aroma of vanilla and sandalwood wafting through the air, an invitation dripping with temptation. I stood between James and Liam, my emerald silk bathrobe slipping to the floor, revealing my body like a living painting, nothing left to hide, a flame burning in the night. James stepped forward, his gray eyes like a wolf on the hunt, his hands gliding over my shoulders, each touch a spark. Liam stood behind me, his hands caressing my waist, his hot breath on my neck like a rising wave. The three of us merged, lips meeting lips, like flames licking at each other, hot and intense. I reclined on the sofa, the candlelight illuminating my skin, accentuating every curve, like a wave under moonlight. James knelt on the floor before me, his gaze level with my core, his eyes burning, like a traveler lost in a desert, yearning for water. He leaned in, his breath hot, like a summer breeze, touching me, making me tremble, like a flower blooming in a storm. Liam sat beside me, his lips claiming mine, a deep and fierce kiss, like a wave sweeping me away. His hands glided over my chest, each touch a note in a melody, igniting the fire within me. My hands caressed Liam's chest, feeling his firm muscles, like a volcano about to erupt, while my other hand gripped James' hair, feeling him set me ablaze from below, like an unquenchable flame. Liam stood, my gaze meeting his, like a starving soul beholding a precious gift. I leaned in, feeling his heat, like a flame that never cools, hot and powerful, like a sweet gift that never melts. I immersed myself in the sensation, like an artist savoring a masterpiece, each rhythm making me dizzy. Liam groaned, his hands gripping my hair, guiding me in a fierce dance, like a wave sliding up and down a shore, hot and irresistible. Then James and Liam switched positions, James' voice deep and warm. "Clara, kneel, let us take you further." I knelt, the candlelight illuminating my body like a living statue. Liam moved behind me, his breath hot, like a breeze, touching me, like an explorer seeking hidden treasure, making me tremble, like a parched beach welcoming rain. James stood before me, my gaze meeting his, like another flame, powerful and captivating, like a sweet gift that never melts, growing more intense with each taste. I immersed myself in the sensation, like a starving soul finding life, each rhythm melting me, like an uncontrollable blaze. The three of us merged, each touch, each breath, like an ancient symphony, where all boundaries dissolved. I felt the fire within me rise, like a volcano, the pressure erupting, sweeping us into an irresistible storm, leaving only our heavy breaths mingling in the dim candlelight. Heavy breathing, the creak of the sofa, the crackling of candles, the scent of vanilla and sandalwood wafting through the air. After the steamy prelude, I, Clara, felt the fire within me blaze fiercely, my body taut, burning, like a volcano ready to erupt. James and Liam, two fierce waves, enveloped me in the dim glow of the scented candles, the aroma of vanilla and sandalwood wafting through the air, an invitation dripping with temptation. We had crossed every boundary, surrendering to an ancient dance where every touch, every heartbeat, merged into an irresistible storm. Under the golden orange light, I felt each breath, each movement, like a blazing fire, leading us into the abyss of passion. I knelt on the sofa, the candlelight illuminating my skin, accentuating every curve, a living painting, wet and taut, like a flower blooming in a storm. James moved behind me, my hips aligning with his waist, his body burning, like a volcano, his breath hot on my back, like a summer breeze. He merged with me, each rhythm gentle, then stronger, like waves crashing against rocks, each movement making me tremble, like a flame fanned by the wind. "Clara," he whispered, his voice deep and warm. "You make me unable to stop." I moaned, my voice trembling. "More, James, it feels so good," feeling as though my body were melting, like a parched beach welcoming a heavy rain. Liam stood before me, his gaze burning, like a volcano about to erupt, his body taut, like a living statue under the candlelight. My eyes were level with his waist, my hands reaching for him, gripping tightly, moving up and down, like a blacksmith hammering hot steel, each rhythm making him breathe heavily, like a wave sliding up and down a shore. "Clara, you're incredible," Liam groaned, his voice filled with desire. "Your skill drives me wild." I leaned in, feeling his heat, like a flame that never cools, wet and intense, like a sweet gift that never melts. I immersed myself in the sensation, my lips and hot breath touching him, like an artist savoring a masterpiece, cleansing every trace of the blazing fire, each rhythm making him groan. "We're in ecstasy, Clara. You're driving us insane." Then Liam guided me to lie back on the sofa, the candlelight illuminating my body, accentuating every curve, like a wave rising high under moonlight. He merged with me, each movement deep and powerful, like a colossal wave, sweeping me into a whirlwind I couldn't resist, touching the deepest parts of me, like an explorer discovering hidden treasure. "Clara, does it feel good?" Liam whispered, his voice filled with passion. "We'll give you the most incredible experiences," I moaned, my voice breaking. "It feels so good. More, please. You're both amazing." Feeling as though my body were erupting, like a volcano, the pressure rising uncontrollably. James moved above me, kneeling on the sofa, my gaze meeting his core, like another flame, powerful and captivating, like a sweet gift that never melts, hot and firm. I immersed myself in the sensation, my lips touching him, like a starving soul savoring a precious gift, each rhythm making him groan. "Clara, you're driving me insane," Your skill is incredible. One hand guided him, setting the rhythm, while the other caressed myself, like an artist creating, touching my most sensitive places, making me moan. Oh God, I can't take it. I'm going to lose myself. It felt as though I were being swept into a storm, each heartbeat, each touch, melting me, like a beach battered by waves, hot and wet. The three of us merged, each movement, each breath, like an ancient symphony where all boundaries dissolved. James and Liam, like two waves, swept me into a whirlwind, each rhythm melting me, like an uncontrollable blaze. Clara, you make us unable to stop. James panted, his voice filled with passion. Liam groaned. We'll show you what true ecstasy is. I moaned, my voice breaking. You both, it feels so good. Don't stop. Feeling as though my body were erupting, like a volcano, the pressure surging, sweeping us into an irresistible storm. Our heavy breaths mingled with the scent of vanilla and sandalwood, like a fierce melody, pulling us deeper into the abyss of passion. Heavy breathing, the creak of the sofa, the crackling of candles, the scent of vanilla and sandalwood wafting through the air, moans echoing in the space. In the dim glow of the scented candles, I, Clara, was completely swept into a whirlwind of passion with James and Liam. My body felt like a volcano, the pressure rising, ready to erupt, merging with two fierce waves, nothing left to hide, only heartbeats, touches, and moans blending in a space filled with temptation. The aroma of vanilla and sandalwood wafted through the air, like a seductive melody, pulling us into the climax where all boundaries dissolved, leaving only a blazing fire, erupting uncontrollably. Under the golden orange light, I felt each breath, each movement, like a flame licking at every sense, leading us into the abyss of passion. The three of us were lost in an ancient symphony, each rhythm, each breath, like three waves crashing together, creating a fierce whirlwind. I felt the pressure within me surge, like a volcano about to erupt, my body taut, burning, like a flower blooming in a storm. James and Liam, like two flames, surrounded me, their breaths heavy, their bodies taut, like two volcanoes reaching their peak. Clara, James whispered, his voice thick with desire. Let us give you our most precious essence on your beautiful and seductive face. Liam followed, his voice trembling, like a flame about to burst. You'll feel our fierce fire. Clara, are you ready? I sat up on the sofa, the candlelight illuminating my face, highlighting my sharp green eyes, my full red lips, and my fiery red hair, like a living flame. I want to feel you. Let me immerse myself in that fire. I whispered, my voice trembling, filled with longing, like a soul lost in a desert finding water. James and Liam stood beside me, their gazes burning, their faces flushed, like volcanoes ready to erupt. Clara, you're too hot, James groaned, his voice deep and warm. We can't hold back anymore. Liam panted. You're melting us. Clara, receive our fire. They erupted like two towering waves, leaving precious pearls, hot and sticky, like molten beeswax, falling onto my face, like a summer rain, warm and intense. I tilted my face up, receiving it, feeling their heat, like a fiery rain, making me tremble, like a flower blooming under scorching sunlight. The three of us moaned in unison, our sounds blending. Mm, echoing in the dim space, like a pledge of passion. Clara, you're driving me insane, James panted, his voice full of emotion. This moment is too intense, Liam groaned. We're in ecstasy. Clara, you're incredible. Your face is like a painting. I smiled faintly, feeling the warmth on my face, like pearls shimmering under the candlelight, making me dizzy, like an artist completing a masterpiece. You've melted me. I've never felt a fire this fierce, I whispered, my voice trembling, filled with satisfaction. I leaned in, reaching for James, then Liam, like a starving soul savoring two sweet gifts, hot and never melting, like two unquenchable flames. My lips glided over them, like someone savoring a precious gift, each rhythm immersing me, like a soul lost in a desert finding water. Clara, you're melting me again, James groaned, his voice filled with desire. Your lips are as hot as a flame, Liam panted. You're so seductive. We'll never forget this feeling, Clara. The three of us sat on the sofa, our breaths still heavy, the candlelight illuminating my face, highlighting the precious pearls, like shimmering pearls under the golden orange light. The scent of vanilla and sandalwood still lingered, a reminder of the storm that had just passed, pulling us deeper into the abyss of passion. Clara, did you like it? Liam asked, his voice deep and warm, his gaze still burning. I've never felt a fire this fierce, I replied, my voice full of emotion. You've made it unforgettable. James smiled, caressing my hair. We feel the same. Clara, you're like a flame, burning through all our boundaries. The space grew quiet again. Only the crackling of the candles remained, the golden orange light illuminating our bodies, like living statues bearing the memory of a passionate storm. I closed my eyes, feeling their warmth, like a flame still smoldering, leaving me in a state of fulfillment, yet haunted, like a dream I couldn't wake from. The sound of water running in the bathroom, soft footsteps, morning birds chirping, the bustling streets of Savannah, gentle piano music. After the storm of passion, I, Clara, felt my body like a flame that had burned fiercely, now reduced to smoldering embers. In the dim candlelight of the living room, James and Liam joined me for one final moment before they left, leaving me with a whirlwind of thoughts. Savannah glowed under the moonlight, but my heart was filled with mixed emotions, desire, guilt, and resolve. I realized I needed to move forward, leaving the storm behind, and rediscover the light with Ethan, my husband, who wasn't so bad after all. The candles in the living room still burned, the scent of vanilla and sandalwood lingering, a reminder of the storm that had passed. James, Liam, and I stood, our bodies weary but still warm from passion. We should shower, I said, my voice hoarse, like a flame about to die out. They nodded, their gazes still fiery but now softened, like a wave after a storm. We stepped into the large bathroom, where golden orange light illuminated the tiled walls, steam rising from the shower like a misty veil. Water poured down, hot, like a summer rain, washing away the traces of the night, but unable to erase the memories. James and Liam stood on either side of me, water streaming down their bodies, like two living statues, but no one spoke, as if we all knew this was the final moment. I closed my eyes, letting the water run over my face, feeling like a flame cooling down. After the shower, James and Liam dressed, their gazes lingering on me, filled with emotion, but no one mentioned what had happened. Clara, thank you for an unforgettable night, James said, his voice deep and warm, smiling faintly. Liam nodded. We'll never forget it, Clara, but perhaps this is enough. I smiled, nodding. Yes, this is enough. They left, their footsteps echoing on the wooden floor, then fading behind the door, leaving me in the quiet villa. Moonlight filtering through the oak canopy, like haunting whispers. I went to bed, but couldn't sleep. I lay there, moonlight illuminating my face, my fiery red hair tangled on the pillow, my green eyes staring at the ceiling. Memories of that night flooded back, the candlelight, James and Liam's breaths, the fire within me, and the storm of passion that had swept us away. I felt a part of me still yearning, but another part was filled with guilt. What have I done? I asked myself, my voice trembling in my mind. I thought of Ethan, my husband sleeping soundly in the next room, the man I had once grown tired of. But now I realized he wasn't so bad. He might be reserved, but he always loved me, always tried for our family. I decided that night was just an experience, a flame that had burned like never before, and that was enough. I needed to move forward, mend my relationship with Ethan, and rediscover the happiness I had lost. In the days that followed, I poured my heart into my work. My office in downtown Savannah glowed under the sunlight, the scent of magnolia wafting through the window, a reminder of renewal. I wore a simple white dress, my hair tied up high, focusing on my interior designs, a way to forget those unworthy desires. Ethan grew closer. We started talking more, dining together, trying to rekindle the flame in our marriage. Clara, would you like to go on a trip somewhere? He asked one evening, his eyes full of hope. I smiled, nodding. I'd love to, Ethan. We need time together. The four of us, me, Ethan, James, and Liam, still met up, still checked in, and still hung out, like normal friends. One afternoon, we had coffee at a small cafe on a Savannah street, laughter ringing out, sunlight filtering through the oak canopy, casting dancing shadows. James and Liam remained polite, their gazes passing over me, but the fire was gone, as if that night had been a dream. No one mentioned what had happened, like an unspoken agreement, and I knew that was for the best. I held Ethan's hand, feeling his warmth, like a small but steady flame, enough to warm my heart. Clara's story is a journey from boredom to passion, but also one of cost and awakening. Which path did she choose? What do you think of Clara's decision? Share your thoughts in the comments, hit like, and subscribe to not miss more emotional stories like this.